Hello, and thank you for joining us to learn a little more about the Japanese medical device regulatory process. Over the next few modules, we'll take a look at the key aspects involved in bringing your medical device to market in Japan. Let's get started. This series is broken up into 6 sections or modules. First, an overview of the Japanese regulatory framework. Next, the steps involved in classifying your medical device. We'll also cover the role of the entities involved in the registration process, then look at quality management system requirements, followed by pre-market application requirements, and finally a module covering the final steps. This video is part of a series, so you can use the playlist menu to skip around between topics if desired, or just let them run in sequence. Ready? Let's get started then with our first module, an overview of the Japanese regulatory framework. It could be argued that the medical device registration process in Japan is one of the most complex in the world. This reproduced graphic, borrowed from a PMDA presentation, is a representation of the registration process on just one slide. As you can see, there are many layers involved in some of the processes, with some products requiring one regulatory pathway and others taking a different route altogether. Before we get into how all this works, it might help to understand some of the terminologies used. All medical devices in Japan must undergo an approval process outlined by the Pharmaceuticals and Medical Device Agency, or the PMDA, a division of the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, the MHLW. The Pharmaceutical and Medical Device Law, or PMDL, is the regulation outlined by the PMDA. Device classification, however, is determined using Japan Medical Device Nomenclature, or JMDN codes. The JMDN is a database of existing devices cleared for sale in Japan, which serves as a point of comparison for classification purposes. Outside of the PMDA, there are a few other primary entities involved in the registration process. The manufacturer, which is you. Marketing authorization holders are the entities who interact with the various regulatory authorities on your behalf, and the registered certified bodies who review applications for certain classes of devices. We'll cover these entities more thoroughly in later modules. The entire process of bringing your medical device to market in Japan can be summed up in about 7 primary steps, which we'll explore in the modules within this course. The first step of the registration process is to determine device classification. Depending upon whether or not you're a foreign or Japanese device manufacturer, you'll need to appoint a marketing authorization holder. Foreign manufacturers must register with the MHLW through the PMDA, while domestic manufacturers must register with the local prefectural government. Japan requires medical device manufacturers to comply with Ordinance 169's quality management system requirements. You'll need to prepare the appropriate application depending on your device. Your QMS may have to pass an audit by the PMDA or a registered certified body. When your certifications are issued, you'll need to submit your import notification before selling in Japan. In this first module, we learned about the governing regulatory body in Japan and the main parties involved in the process. We also took a look at the steps involved in bringing your device to market. Up next, we'll cover the different classifications of medical devices and how they are determined.